Every egg you buy started as a coin flip. A commercial hatchery does not pick the sex. Biology does. Roughly half the chicks that crack the shell are female. Roughly half are male. Now walk the grocery store. The egg cooler is all hens. The meat case is labeled chicken, so you assume some of those birds were roosters. They were not the same bird. The males from the egg side never make it onto a truck. They vanish at the hatchery hours after they open their eyes. If you have ever stood in that aisle and thought, chicken is chicken, the store agreed with you. The store was also lying by omission. One word, two supply chains, one of them throws away half the hatch. This is not a cruelty rant, it is a spreadsheet. And that spreadsheet has been running for 100 years. Here is why we don't eat male chickens. And the part of that sentence that is a lie. Until 1925, a farmer waited weeks to tell a pullet from a cockerel. You fed both. You hoped. The extra males became dinner later, or they became a bill. Then 3 Japanese scientists, Masui, Hashimoto, and Ono, showed you could read the sex on day 1. A tiny bump on the vent. Male. No bump. Female. That job is called chick sexing. A trained pair of hands can sort about 1,000 birds an hour at better than 98% accuracy. Keep out. The keep pile becomes layers. The out pile is the problem this video is about. Brown strains can be color sexed from the down. White strains still need the hands. Either way, the decision is the same. Only one sex has a job in an egg factory. That speed is the whole invention. Before day-old sexing, you paid to raise the wrong bird for a month. After it, you could stop paying in seconds. Hatcheries hired specialists. Some of the first ones came from Japan. The rest of the industry copied the hands, then the genetics that made the hands even faster. A hatchery that wants one pullet has to set more than 2 eggs. Hatch rate is not 100%. Sex is a coin flip, so the building is already wasting shells before anyone sorts a chick. The male is just the waste you can see, so why not just raise the brothers? Because a layer was not built to become dinner. A modern broiler, the bird in the meat case, can hit about 2 kilograms in roughly a month, both sexes. That is the point. Meat genetics do not care if the chick is a hen or a rooster, they both grow. A layer male is a different machine. Lean, slow, high feed, low breast. Studies put him around 2 kilograms at 18 weeks. You are pouring almost 6 kilograms of grain into a small bird with less meat. A poultry economist in the Netherlands put the carbon and the cash in one line. High cost, low revenue. You are not looking at a cheap leftover rooster. You are looking at the leftover sex of a bird that was optimized to lay, not to swell. If you force him onto the meat line anyway, the meat does not look like the tray you already trust. Less breast. Different texture. It wants a burger grind or a stew, not a plastic 2-pack. The store already has a 2-pack. It arrived in 6 weeks, not 18. Feed is the quiet villain. Grain, water, barn space, heat. A broiler turns that into breast meat on a timer the industry already priced. A layer male turns it into a skinny bird nobody put on a poster. Raising him to be kind still burns the extra feed. Kindness that costs €4 a bird loses to a 2-cent test on the egg. That is why the brother programs stay niche, even in countries that tried. This is new. For most of human history, you did eat the males. A farm kept 1 rooster and a flock of hens. Extra cockerels became Sunday dinner. Stewing roosters, capons, castrated males fattened for the table, a luxury bird for centuries. The backyard rooster is still edible. Tough, dark, fine in a pot. Your great-grandparents would not have found this video confusing. They would have found the grocery case confusing. A mixed farm did not need a specialist hatchery. 1 rooster, a dozen hens, eggs for the kitchen, extra males for the pot. Dual-purpose birds were slow at both jobs and good enough at both. Then cities wanted cheap protein every day, not a Sunday bird. The specialist chicken won because it could be stacked. What died is the market. Once hatcheries could sex on day 1, keeping a brother became a bill you could see. Once broiler genetics arrived in the mid-20th century, the bill looked insane. Why spend months feeding a lean layer male when a meat bird finishes in weeks? Capons did not lose a taste test. They lost a race against a stopwatch. Here is the genetic trap. You cannot breed one chicken that is elite at eggs and elite at meat. Those traits pull against each other, so the industry split the species. Bird A is the layer. Small body, hundreds of eggs a year. Her brothers are a rounding error on the hatchery floor. Bird B is the broiler. Huge breast. About 6 weeks to the plant. Both sexes go. Male broilers are not a scandal. They are the product. The chicken in your fridge is almost always bird B, male or female. You have been eating male chickens. You just have not been eating male layers. The grocery word chicken hides two animals that barely share a job. That is why the title feels true and false at the same time. True for the egg side. False for the meat side. Your nuggets can be male, your omelet cannot. Same English word, different factory. Dual-purpose breeds still exist. Hobby farms, a few European brother cockerel programs. They cost more, they take longer, the meat does not match the tray you already trust. The tray won. So what happens to the leftover half? Worldwide, on the order of 7 billion male layer chicks a year do not leave the hatchery as birds. In the European Union alone, hundreds of millions, they are culled within hours of hatch because they have no cell on the spreadsheet. I am not going to walk you through the methods. You do not need the footage, you need the reason. Germany banned the practice in 2022. France and a few neighbors followed with partial bans or industry deals. The replacement is in ovo sexing. Read the egg before it hatches, often before day 13 when the embryo's nervous system is still coming online. Male eggs never become chicks. They get used as other products. That test adds about 1 or 2 euro cents per egg. Raising the brother for meat costs a few euros per bird. Most of the world has not passed that law. Most of the eggs in a typical store still come from a system that sorts on day 1. If the carton does not say otherwise, assume the brothers did not get a second job. None of this is a secret buried in a lab. It is standard hatchery math. The reason you never noticed is the packaging. Eggs do not come with a footnote about the other half. Chicken trays do not say broiler either sex. The missing males are a labeling problem as much as a biology problem. Why don't we eat male chickens? We do. Every rotisserie, every nugget. Those are broilers and half of them were male. What we do not eat is the leftover sex of the leftover bird, the brother of the hen that laid your breakfast. Hens won the cooler because they lay. Broilers won the meat case because they grow. The male layer won nothing because we built a food system that only pays for one job per body. The hatchery is still 50-50. The aisle is not. That gap is not a mystery, it is a price. Once you see the two birds, you cannot unsee the missing half.